You're listening to the Last Man In podcast. Covering Winnipeg hockey and the NHL.
Scheifele dances his way in. Scheifele scores! Blake Wheeler finds the far corner. And the Winnipeg Jets win it in overtime.
Last Minute Podcast, episode 143, and we're all about the second round today. We've got a very happy Cam here because the Flyers won something, which was the draft lottery. They came in second place.
Okay,
to
I just
the
want to
New Jersey
say,
Devils.
Dan came at me. He's like, "Well, the Flyers finally won something." I'm like, Dan, the Jets won it last. Everyone came at me like, "Oh, the Flyers won something." I was jacked up for the Jets last year. No one can be happy for me with the Flyers.
Oh,
I was there for you. I was there.
We got
So did I was happy for you.
There was you two guys,
My
but my whole entire hockey team attacked me except Matt. We got the replacement because Dan. He moved yesterday to a new home. His address is. I'm just kidding. I didn't hear back from him.
My exact text to Cam were, "Oh shit, insane," and he says, "Top 3, baby." I say 2, losing out to New Jersey, and you said, "I don't give a fuck." And I said, "It's to Jersey," and you said no.
But my favorite part was we were at Smitty's.
Yeah.
And Cam went outside to
get the table.
but the TV wasn't on yet outside. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching. And I'm like, "Hey Cam, the Flyers won." He's like, "Fuck off." I'm like, "No, Cam, seriously."
I was like
the Flyers won.
I'm like, "Stop being a dick." And I pop my head in and I see the star. But then when we were outside and they kept pulling names, and I'm like, "The Flyers keep going." And then Matt's like, "Yeah, once they pass you, you're in the top 3." And I was like,
I had to
So I
explain
kept
that
freaking out every pick.
Okay. Not what I wanted to start the show with.
No.
I want to start with real hockey, and then we'll talk about the teams that
real
aren't
hockey?
The teams that aren't in the playoffs after that.
The
teams that were part of the draft lottery,
The teams that won the Stanley Cup next
and
year,
then the teams that did signings because they're also not in the playoffs. So I want to touch on that last.
Deal.
I feel like there was some other news that I am completely missing.
Okay, well, playoffs,
Draft lottery, signings, and then did Vegas do something? I feel like
Are you
Vegas
trying
did
to
something.
poke around something?
Yeah, something's in my head and I just
I don't
can't
know.
think of it.
If you think of it, just start talking.
I will.
About it. That's how we do.
I will start talking
It's
about it.
usually a pre-starting podcast.
That's okay.
So,
we should do.
Caps,
Ben's not
Pens.
here. We don't need rules.
After Game 2 of Caps and Pens, I have an exclusive transcript between the Caps. In the Capitals room, they had a players-only meeting after Game 2. So this is after the Capitals fell short 2-0 in the series to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh won both games on the road in the Verizon Center, which is where Washington Capitals play.
Which game was game 2? Is that the one where Crosby got both goals? Or is that the first game?
I think
That was the
the
first game.
game. First game. So Washington held a players-only meeting after their first game. So it starts like this. Nick Backstrom screams in Swedish for 45 seconds. Nick Backstrom. "So how do we beat these guys?" A murmur fills the room. Alex Ovechkin stands up. "We kill Sid." The entire room stands up and in unison chants, "We kill Sid" for 2 minutes. Tom Wilson. "How do you want me to do it?" Nick Backstrom. "No, that's too obvious. It needs to be perfectly choreographed and preferably involve 2 of our most important players." Tom Wilson. "Are you sure? I could just run him from behind, and when he's down, I could take my skate off." And Matt Niskanen interjects. "No, me. I will do it. I will kill Sid." Alex Ovechkin. "No, let me do it." Matt Niskanen. "No, I will do it." That goes back and forth for a minute. Nick Backstrom. "What if you both do it?" Ovechkin and Niskanen high five. Matt Niskanen. "So should I do it after we get a lead or late in the game when we're about to win? So we don't cost ourselves the game, of course." Nick Backstrom. "No, do it early in the game when it's 0-0 and get yourself a major penalty and get yourself dejected too." Matt Niskanen. "I'm going to be honest, that doesn't make much sense. If they get a 5-minute power play, they could score 3 times and Ovechkin breaks his stick over his locker. There's one hole in this genius plan, Nicky." Nick Backstrom. "What, Alex?" Alex Ovechkin. "We'd have to play the final 50 minutes with only 5 defensemen. And you know what that means?" Ovechkin eyes strained towards Brooks Orpik. Ovechkin gestures toward Orpik with his thumb. Backstrom nods and winks. Brooks Orpik. "You guys know you guys can see me, right?" "I can see you guys, right?" Nick Backstrom Sorry. Nick Backstrom. So what do we do, Alex? What do we do? Alex is right. There's simply no good way to kill Sid. I'm glad we used our post-game players-only meeting to discuss intentionally injuring Sid, though. This is really happening. But playing with 5D would be too much for us to handle, so I guess we will have to do it another way. Barry Trotz kicks down the door and walks into the room with his arm around Carl Eisner. Did somebody say they need an extra defenseman? The room roars in delight. Chance of we kill Sid fill the room. And that followed into Game 3. Where Ovechkin slashes Crosby, and then Matt Niskanen cross-checks him in the head.
Story
It's
time with
perfectly
Greg.
choreographed.
I'd expect nothing less from a team with Tom Wilson on it. So, seriously, Matt Niskanen can never join. Like, I hope he never comes back in the league. That's bullshit. That's not a hot... You can't even say that was by accident. He extends his arms right in the face of Sidney Crosby, and then he holds him down, and then, like, does a monkey, like, and then skates away, and they're like, no, it's just a cross-check, good hockey play. Fuck him.
A quick game, and he didn't really
No,
cross-check.
that's bullshit.
He was defending.
He didn't really
bracing
cross-check.
for impact.
Is that why his arms
Well,
extended?
yeah, but it
out,
wasn't
you know?
really a cross-check. It was more hands than anything.
Right, it's only
but-
at his head. He
Hey,
only
I'm
has
a
one of
Pens
those,
fan.
right?
Don't be sitting
That's
there.
dumb.
You
It's
know what's
dumb.
hilarious is if we had this conversation in, like, let's say, like, March, and Niskanen had hit
No,
Crosby,
the
it would be
Caps-
completely different.
The
It'd be
Caps
completely
dislike started the third time the Caps played the Pens or Flyers. It would have been, right around February.
Okay, so in January, if we had this conversation, it would have been fine.
No,
But-
I still wouldn't have been okay with it because he's
It's not that bad of a hit.
You got to protect the face of the league.
I understand that, but at the same time, in hockey, it moves fast.
Okay, so if they call up Tom Sestito and Tom Sestito just skates up to Niskanen. No, you know what? He skates up to Backstrom and goes cross-checks him in the mouth.
Yeah, but that's deliberate.
Oh,
this
wasn't
no, it
to
wasn't.
his head. It was to his head.
Yeah, but Crosby was turning away. His head was down.
Oh yeah, and he could have just
He was
let
in
go
a
of his stick and like
he was
grab
in a
him.
defenseless position, and Matt Niskanen was already starting to engage in the hit.
Okay.
It's different because you've never played the hockey at that level in a hitting
No,
league.
none of us have.
No, but I've played hitting hockey.
I've played
reffed-
with Russ, so what's the point? You can't fucking cross-check guys in the fucking
I'm
head.
not saying you
That's
can't,
a
but it
penalty every
happens
time.
inadvertently.
Yeah,
And that's
okay.
why it was called a major in a game.
Well, I guess Tom Sestito will inadvertently do something in Game 4 when they eventually call him up. Because that's where I stand with this. It's complete bullshit.
Mom, Dad, stop fighting.
Well, no, it's just, it's stupid.
It's
like,
it's a hit that'll
suspend him.
happen.
Crosby's
Why?
Crosby's out of Game 4. He has a concussion.
That's fine.
Oh, so you're sending a message of, it's okay to just cross-check any guy
God,
you
it's
want in the
fine to
head.
play hockey.
You cross-checked
It's a
him in the fucking head. What are you kidding me? Like, you can't cross-check a guy in the head and then stand over him and expect no repercussions. He's out with the
understand
concussion
that.
because
I understand it's bad.
You used your stick to hit him in the head.
But it wasn't. It's not like he purposely did this. What he was
Oh
doing.
yeah, his arms didn't extend. He just held him there and made.
Have you ever hit a guy? Have you ever once hit a guy?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Do your arms extend?
Yes.
Yes,
In lacrosse
exactly.
they do.
Okay. So same with hockey. So when
Yeah.
you're bracing yourself when
Yeah, but he
guys,
led with the stick, and his stick was connected to his head. That's called a cross-check, an illegal cross-check to the head. Like, it's ridiculous. I think he
not
should be
ridiculous.
suspended. Since
It's-
Crosby might be out for the rest of the playoffs, whatever game
not-
Crosby's out with, I would match that with Niskanen.
I
Niskanen
disagree.
doesn't play a big role on his team like Crosby does.
Well, Niskanen does play a big role
I
in that
disagree.
team, but
Well, yeah, no, he's playing the biggest role in the playoffs now. He took out the best player in the playoffs. So, yeah, for sure. I agree with that. I think, no question, he should have been at least suspended. Does he even have a hearing?
No, because Pierre LeBrun asked 20. He sent a text out to a bunch of people. Asked 23. I think he got a hold of 23 coaches / GMs. 6 of them feel that he should be suspended for it. It's not it. A lot of people believe that the game happened so fast. I'm not saying go out
So
and
the
injure
6
guys.
teams left in the playoffs thinks it's okay. Or
No,
6 of
no.
the 7 teams.
No. 6 said it's a suspendable play. That would mean
Oh, okay.
17
Got it, yeah.
teams believe that it's not a suspendable play. Because really, the game happened so fast. He got a major for it, which is already essentially a game misconduct. Well, it was a game misconduct. He got a major in a game, so it's already one game that he's out for. I don't know. Like, the ref called it perfectly. It's a fast game that happens quickly. It wasn't intentional. There was nothing. It's just one of those things that happens when you have a fast game.
Well, I hope Tom Sestito makes something happen tomorrow. Because
Just
that's
like,
where I stand.
yeah, because, that hit that Mike Richards gave David Booth wasn't dirty at all.
No, it
either,
was a
right?
clean hit because it was shoulder to shoulder.
That's why it gave David Booth a concussion, and it was
Yeah,
initial
but
contact
David Booth
was with
was
the head.
cutting across the blue line, and his head was up, and he was looking.
Oh,
Crosby
so Crosby's...
his back was turned to him. Niskanen had time to, either stop or just grab him instead of
'cause
cross-check him in the head.
You can stop and grab people when you're going full speed and you're already leading
Well, you
into
can at
a
least
hit.
stop and grab him.
Crosby was turning this way, his head was the other direction, and he was recovering from a slash that Ovechkin just gave him.
Yeah, so he was already dealing with some bullshit from the Caps. Like, where I stand with this. I hope whatever Tom Sestito does, he sure makes it count.
Wow, that is not how you should be advocating anything.
Oh, well, if you're
they injure
advocating...
my players, so let's advocate
Well, yeah,
for
if you're advocating that,
Yeah, no,
I'm definitely advocating this.
No, I'm not advocating injuring players. I'm saying that the
Well,
game
that's what you're
happens
doing.
No, I'm not.
Well, then make sure Tom Sestito makes it look like he's not hurting him.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what I'm doing. That's where I stand on this one. 100%.
Like, I know I'm not going to change your opinion. You're not going to change mine. But the truth of the matter is maybe one game, and that's it.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Like, I just wanted
Even then, one game is too much.
No, I know. So it's okay. So as long as Tom Sestito,
But
he wasn't
where I
gonna play
draw the
another
line is
game.
when you're saying, hey, let's bring up a guy to injure another guy.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Oh,
They
I'm
didn't
okay
go
with
into
that.
like, what I read was a joke. What you're actually saying is something that is malicious in intent.
Yeah, because Niskanen
You're giving
could've
malicious
fucking
intent
stopped
for
that.
something.
He
No,
could've
he
stopped
couldn't.
that. Anyways, yeah, I am advocating malicious intent because Niskanen definitely showed that on Crosby yesterday. Did he even do an interview after the game?
You don't even play a game. You never go into a game saying, I'm going to injure someone. You don't.
Sure you can.
Not
Scott
these
Stevens
guys
not
don't.
once did that. Not once
These
ever.
guys
no
do
one in
not.
the NHL
They do
does
not
that.
go. I'm telling you
Okay.
that these guys do not go into games thinking,
So
I want to
no
injure this best
professional
player.
ever has ever done
No, I'm
that.
not saying no professional ever.
So
but I'm
just
saying
these
it's not their
specific guys
mindset.
on these teams?
I'm saying for most instances, it is not something that you do. You're not going in there saying, I'm going to injure their best player.
Yeah.
That is why what I read is
You're
a
going to
joke.
make it look like an accident.
No, you're not gonna make it look like an
Have you ever
accident.
seen Tom Wilson play hockey? Like, that's how he plays as well.
Tom Wilson does his job very well.
Yeah.
He plays on that line and he goes on both sides.
Yeah.
And for a guy who's for a guy who's a Flyer fan, it's hilarious to know that you hate guys like Tom Wilson, even though he's everything that Philadelphia Flyers are and have ever been, and he'd be perfect in the Philadelphia Flyer orange. The play that Matt Niskanen made, if the Flyers had done that to
There hasn't-
Crosby, you'd be cheering through the streets.
No, because you want to beat their team at their best.
I agree with that.
And
I'm
he's
not
in the game, he
advocating
makes
for
it
him
the
getting
best.
hurt. I would love to see Crosby come back from this. I said the same thing when Kadri hit Ovechkin dirty. I was like, I hope that Ovechkin's not out, because if the Leafs were able to beat the Caps, I want to beat them at their best.
Well, yeah, you
Nobody
always want to
on the-
beat your team at the best.
Nobody wants to beat the Pens without Crosby. It's not. There was no intent on this hit. That's my argument.
You already know
That's
where
my
I
side.
stand, so.
He could be back for Game 5, apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently it's not a bad concussion. He came in, he wasn't limping when they went to the rink today. He went to one of the security guards, letting everyone know he's fine and that it's not a bad concussion. It is his, fourth or fifth concussion?
Fourth, yeah.
He's starting to rack up.
Yeah, it's not a
Starting.
good sign, but if it's just a small one, it shouldn't be too bad, and it should just be a couple days.
And he
But-
knows, and
he knows more than anyone, right?
they know how to handle
And
it.
he knows that it's not worth coming back too early if he does, because he's already done that once.
Mhm.
Doesn't need it again. So
Now, I think where the problem lies with this is now that the Caps know, and this is where maybe me and Cam can find some common ground. I don't know. But if Crosby comes back in Game 5, and let's say the Caps are headhunting, especially Tom Wilson, that dirty prick, who would be the best player for the Philadelphia Flyers, regardless
I don't want him. He's done too much damage to my heart. I don't want him.
and let's say they go headhunting on Crosby, I think that's where I draw the line and say something needs to be done from the NHL. Because you cannot have the face of the league being headhunted by a bunch of goons. You guys know where I stand, you know where Cam stands, you know where Matt stands. So
no, I didn't talk. No one knows what the hell I know.
you were shaking your head. I know what you want.
You guys, know, 'cause
what's your opinion?
I was laughing, and I don't think it was malicious intent. It was not. It was a dirty play, but it not because he meant to do it.
Yeah.
He cross-checked him in the head. It was definitely a cross-check to the head. It was a 5-minute major, and that's what it should have been. There shouldn't be a suspension on it because he didn't mean to. It looks bad, but he doesn't come out with his arms on each end of his stick and cross-check him. He's got his hands there defending, and Ovechkin slashes Crosby. He kind of wobbles a little bit, and his head just ends up right by Niskanen's head or hands. and he pushes him to protect himself. It looks bad. Cam's giving me a look. He wants to kill me. But yeah.
Sweet setup play in that team meeting that Greg read earlier. Little does Greg know that was real. That was real. Those are real words. That
But like
read.
I'm to
It is kind
to
of
close
weird
this,
that they did that. So they dressed the seventh defenseman that day.
Yeah, pretty
That's
funny.
strange.
Very, but I'm looking at this
Who
still
was
in
the seventh?
Carlsner. Because they have
he's been
Schmidt
injured.
and by the way,
right,
make a
right.
quick note in the series. It's 2-1 now. Penguins. The Penguins roared back late in the third to tie the game 2-2 yesterday, and then Shattenkirk, who I said wasn't really doing much all playoffs, scoring the play.
You know what?
Overtime.
Don't count the Pens out just because Crosby's out. If
No,
you get
Malkin looked unbelievable.
Malkin is
yesterday.
unbelievable. The stuff he does with the puck is just incredible. Like I don't know how he just kind of he's skating and he just kind of puts it between the guy's feet and stick, and then he goes around him and he just picks the puck back up. It's just it's so fluid. It's
You
incredible.
know who he is? He's the Russian Mario Lemieux. It's insane how comparable the two guys are
Just
because
because of
they're
their
so
size and
they're
stature.
exactly
Yeah.
and they're so smooth the way they skate.
But
But
if they can get that HBK line going again, because they can't have Kessel and Malkin on the same line. just
Kessel
because-
looked so dangerous yesterday a few times. He's so good.
But they can't have Malkin and Kessel together because that's just too much scoring on one line when they don't have a lot of depth scoring. It's because a lot of their scoring comes from Sid. When it comes to Gensel and Sheary.
But Gensel's still
I thought you were going to take the other route of you can't have Kessel and Malkin because Kessel and Malkin are pretty notorious for kind of floating back to the D zone. Once they're in the D zone, they're awesome. Takes a little while to get
I
there.
will not say that about Kessel. Kessel's not awesome in the defensive zone. He's not.
No, they've been playing well together. Right?
Oh, yeah.
But just with not enough scoring going around, they need to split those guys up. And that HBK line, if it can get going again like it was last year when they won the Stanley Cup, and then Crosby comes back at some point,
Yeah.
if they make it through the Caps, it's
And then
it's
Niskanen
dangerous.
shows up in the back alley in the next series.
just with a bat and just bashes
Hello,
his
Remember-
kneecap.
Sydney.
Remember though, the Penguins are in the driver's seat for the series, and let's say Caps win Game 4. It comes down to a best of 3. If Crosby's back, it's going to be some of the most exciting hockey of the year.
And what's up with Fleury?
What do you mean?
He's playing
been-
for Vegas. He's like, I
No
want to be
doubt, you
Vegas's goalie.
He's gonna just win the Stanley Cup and then they're gonna get rid of him and it's gonna be just the weirdest
Yeah,
thing.
like even if Matt Murray's good to go at this point, like I'd be like,
No, Fleury's
I don't
staying
know,
no matter
guys.
what. I would not
Let's
put him
leave
back
him
in.
in.
Yeah.
I'm just to close this out. I'm looking at the still image of Niskanen's stick to Crosby's teeth.
Do you see how he's scowling in that picture?
He's not scowling. He's not even barely looking at him. But it's almost one of those situations, like the Dennis Weidman situation. Is there intent on this? And that's, I think, where we have to stand. We don't know if there's. But you
Dennis
can.
Weidman on the ref?
Yeah.
Go.
Come
There's
on.
intent.
We could have.
Oh yeah, there's intent. We know there is. But all
Yeah.
I'm saying is, it's that like we're sure, but we're not sure. But
Okay,
here,
at what
it's
level hockey do you start playing where there's refs involved?
7-8,
So, how old is Dennis Weidman when he hit him?
33 probably.
It's almost 3 decades, Dennis. You've known not to hit the guy in black and white. You can't touch him, don't talk to him. Unless you got the letter. Unbelievable.
So now moving to the other Eastern Conference series, Rangers and Sens. Rangers are up Sens are up 2-0 in that series after a tremendous Game 2 by Jean-Gabriel Pajot.
JG, a Pajot.
With
And
a
the Habs are like, what? Come on, JG. We thought we had a deal.
So here's the thing. Montreal fans are like, well, this isn't fair. We're supposed to have all the French players because that's how Montreal wins cups. They can only win cups when they have...
Is there a number 27 on the Sens? There was, and he got traded. Perfect. Galchenyuk to the Sens. Confirmed. For just Pajot. For just Pajot.
I was watching something, and I think Montreal was going to take him in that 4th round that he got taken, and I think Ottawa took him the pick before.
Interesting.
Well, that's like that Brian Burke when he was in Toronto. He had that meeting with, I want to say it was, who is the former GM of the Sens? Brian Murray?
Yeah.
Brian Murray. And he's like, oh, who are you going to take? And he's like, oh, I think we're looking at Kadri. And he's like, yeah, me too. And then, because they were debating on trading picks, and then Brian Burke's like, no. And then he just like walks away and walks pretty much to the podium. I think it's between those two.
And my favorite thing about that is one of my friends, it was a huge Sens fan at the time. Still, I'm sure he still is. And we were talking back and forth. He's like, oh, he was just baiting Brian Burke into taking Kadri so he could take Jared Cowan. Last year when Cowan got traded to Leafs. I was like, yeah, that draft's looking great for you guys now. Then he gets bought out. I'm like, I'm sure. And then Kadri scored 30 this year. I'm like, yeah, Sens couldn't use a 30-goal score at all.
Well, that's
so
like
I just rubbing salt in that wound.
the 2011 first round pick draft. Ottawa had 3 picks, and I only think one. No, none of them are on the team because we went through the whole thing.
Did.
There was Zibanejad. I think they drafted Matt Puempel.
Yeah, Matt
Puempel was
Puempel.
also with the Rangers.
And then there was one other guy, and when I was going through, Matt was just testing me to see if I could name them with a few hints. But I was like, I didn't realize there's a few teams that I'm like, wow, they had a few drafts or they had a few picks, and they did absolutely nothing with them.
Yeah.
There's nothing with those guys. Yeah, and it definitely you can put me on record at this point because it will be on record. For sure, Mark Scheifele is the best player out of that first round draft out of 2011.
I think the only guy that's up there with him, I think Gaudreau went that draft, or he could have went the next year.
Well, I'm just saying out of the
Or
first round.
Stone.
No.
Out of the first round,
Hamilton's there.
I would take Scheifele over Hamilton.
Yeah, no. There's really
I mean, the only other guy, but that's only because it's at home, would be Couturier. But again,
out of the first round, no, there's really no one personally, if you redraft, I think Scheifele is the first overall. I think Dougie Hamilton's up there just from a defensive standpoint. The best defenseman in that draft would be Dougie Hamilton, Ryan Murphy.
This is only the first
Oscar
round we're talking to.
Yeah, Oscar Clefbaum, Nathan Beaulieu, who I still really like, even though it looks like he's going to get chopped out of Montreal, which is going to be hilarious when they lose probably one of their best left defensemen.
So are they just trying to make their team 30 and over?
Yeah,
With the way their moves are
They're
going?
just trying to win now, but they're not trying to win now because they're not making big moves. Other than
not making
Weber
the right-
Subban trade.
They're not making the right moves.
But if you're going for it, go and get Duchesne was available. Why didn't you go and get
They
him?
didn't want to give up the price.
Okay, but you have a 2-year
Well,
window.
obviously
I know.
you're not going
No,
to give
I
a Carey
agree with
Price.
you.
What, are you out of your mind?
No,
I'm kidding.
I know. The problem with Montreal is they don't know what they are. They tried to go out. They tried to make moves to win now. They got Steve Ott. They got Andrew Shaw. They went out. They got Weber. A lot of their moves are positioning them to win now. But the problem is they don't have the talent, and I don't think they have the proper systems in place. Who's their top centerman? Alex Galchenyuk.
It's not Galchenyuk.
But it's not
Because
Galchenyuk.
So
Exactly.
is it Plekanec?
And you got Thomas Plekanec, who's been in the league since the early 2000s.
He
Who's
wears a
old.
turtleneck.
Exactly.
Come on now.
But then you look at the Rangers and you see their depth at center. Derek Stepan, Mika Zibanejad. There's more. I just can't think of them.
You know what? I like how I was going to try and help you. And I'm like, well, you named the 2 I know.
Isn't JT Miller just saying
JT Miller's a
JT
center.
Miller.
They have, the thing is, they have probably 4 top 3 centers. And if I remember correctly, they have 4 guys who can play center. I think Rick Nash can still play center. No?
Rick Nash never played center.
Didn't he play center?
He was always a winger.
Didn't he play center at one point?
Never.
No? Okay. I'm wrong.
Well, I'm sure he probably took a few faceoffs.
Yeah.
Because Columbus is they run like a beer. For a little bit, they run like a beer league. They're like, all right, so we only have about 12 guys tonight. Be safe out there, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. And Rick Nash is
We only have
this
so
place.
much money for.
Yeah, we only have so much money for Rick. Like, Rick, okay, in your next contract, we're not going to give you the signing bonus, but you get your own pizzeria. Your name on the sign. You don't get it. You get a coupon and your name on the sign. Rick Nash's Pizzeria. But they also serve wings.
And a quick update in that game currently, Rick Nash has a goal.
So it's 3-0.
3-0 now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Ottawa, please hold on. Please, Ottawa, hold on.
No, I don't want to see it be a 3-0 series lead. I want to see this one be close because I actually enjoy Ottawa playing hockey because the more hockey I
like
get to see of
playing
Ottawa,
hockey when they win.
no, the more I get to see of Ottawa, the more Eric Carlson I get to see in it. Watching Eric Carlson makes me happy.
Do we know which one of his feet are broken, or are they both?
I think they're both fractured.
No, I think it's just the left.
Why would they come out with that?
Why not? I
It's,
don't know.
It's not getting any worse, and he was tired of. It's not gonna get any worse, and he was tired of getting questioned about it. So it was like, here, this is what
Did
it
he
was.
get clearance, or did he's just like, you know what, guys, I'm going to answer it. I'm being brutally honest here. Both of my feet are busted real bad, but they're not getting any worse. And then the trainer and the gym are like, no, stop it. What are you doing? Yeah. So,
So,
All
yeah,
right.
so Rangers are up in that series 2-0. Or, sorry, Sens are up in that series 2-0. Rangers are up in the game 3-0. So it looks like it'll be a 2-1 series lead. But it wouldn't be the first time the Sens come back. They just need Pajot to do something. And we all can agree here that the Montreal Canadiens kind of suck. So,
Yep. Fact.
Ducks and Oilers are playing game 3 tomorrow night, actually. They get another night off tonight. But in that series, Edmonton jumped out to an early 2-0 lead in that series and looked like they could come back after falling down 3-0, or was it 3-1 in game 3. And then they roared back to tie it 3-3, and then unfortunately Anaheim took it over. Are we surprised about the Edmonton Oilers right now, or is it just like...
Well, for me, I'm pleasantly surprised that they won. I picked them. But
Yeah.
I'm picking them because they just find
all did.
Anaheim not that
I didn't.
entertaining.
I wasn't here, but I did.
Who would you have picked
I
anyways?
had Anaheim in 6.
Okay, well, Matt,
could
Matt
still
hates
happen.
fun. So, Matt, you're not allowed
No,
to talk
it's not
for
that
the
I
rest-
hate fun, I
Shut
just
up.
don't like
No
Edmonton.
talking for the rest of the episode. Why are you here?
I don't know.
How
if that
dare
first-
you disagree
that first
with
10
us?
minutes, I don't know why I was here.
To answer Greg's
It
question.
got heated.
Well,
I've noticed.
to answer Greg's question, I am pleasantly surprised that Edmonton's doing as good as it were. But as I'm saying this, someone deep in the depths of the internet who's like an Edmonton fan is like, I knew it all along. I was yelling at my computer screen the last 6 months when you guys were shit talking Clef Bomb and everyone and everything with Edmonton. Well, now look at us.
That contract's actually looking better and better. That
Which one?
7-year, 4.
We were
whatever.
here when we broke
The
it down.
Clef-Bomb
Yeah, it's
sign?
looking better.
It's looking better.
It looks looking better.
When they presented it, it was like, oh, okay.
There's
That's
a
a lot of money for no
reason.
reason.
There's a reason we dedicated a quarter of the episode to it. We were like, "You guys, have you seen Oscar Clefbaum's contract? It's awful. It's so bad." And now we're making us eat those words.
Yeah,
It tastes
and now
great.
there's another contract we have to talk about, a defenseman that hasn't proved himself that signed a 7-year contract, but that's later in the episode.
Yep, just super tease that one.
Yeah, we will. But we
no.
will talk about it.
Edmonton, that series is fantastic. Oh, I just wanted to mention for Game 3, first game at home for Edmonton in round 2. Obviously, I think everyone's seen this now. The mic stopped working.
Yeah.
And so the crowd had to sing both anthems. Yeah, that's right. Canada knows the American anthem, America.
The best part
I
about
don't
it,
know
though...
the Canadian anthem.
I know the American one before the Canadian one because I learned
I know.
part French, part English,
so
and
did
I
I.
don't know the English part of the
work.
French part.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Matt knows the True North part. That's all he cares about.
That's
all
no,
I know.
you know. Have you ever been to a Jets game where they had a French immersion, like choir kids doing it?
Oh, yeah.
And the True North part
Yeah,
is
everyone.
normally in French. That section they did double English and then double French so that they didn't miss the True North.
Yeah.
But as a kid, like that'd be so confusing because like it goes, oh, say again. It's English, French, English, French,
Why-
French, English, French. No, I finish on English always. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. For the sections they sing it in.
Yeah.
I'm saying it'd be confusing for the kids because there's always. That's one thing that people never boo is like kids choirs. I mean, well, no, I've booed the anthem singer at the Jets game only real quick because Stacey Natras is the anthem singer in Winnipeg, and Stacey when she was pregnant, like super, like she was like within a few weeks of like actually having her child, she didn't sing a few songs, and Kira and I went, and this lady walked out, and like me and a few other people around us, loud enough that like Carrie's section is right beside where the national anthem singer is, like right there. She could hear you if you yelled at her, no problem. And like a little, not yelling, but a little louder than normal. I was like, "That's not Stacy." And a few other people said it with me, so it was loud enough that she heard. She knew.
Oh,
She did a fantastic job. She just wasn't Stacy, and I was like, "Hey, what? How dare you sing?"
I have to say, the person who does the Toronto Maple Leaf anthems, I can't remember her name, just does
The
a
girl.
terrific job. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's awesome.
as long as she doesn't mess up, she's got that for life because she's
Yeah.
super young.
The guy in St. Louis is brutal. Watch a St. Louis game when they're in St. Louis and just listen to him sing
Game
the anthem.
5.
He is brutal.
Is
Game
it
5.
which one was the two guys? Or was just for fun? Like, was it in Nashville? I don't know either
It
way.
might
There were
have been
two
in
guys,
Nashville.
and like one guy had like super
Oh,
bassy low voice.
I know who you're
and
talking
the other
about. I
guy
just
had
can't
like
think
just a
of who it
regular
was,
voice.
yeah.
But like, I couldn't figure out who was the bassy
know, I
one
think-
because they were singing at the same time.
I think they should each arena should just hire a singer, and that's who we get behind. Like the Jets of Stacey Natras, the The Leafs have the girl, I can't remember her name.
The Canucks have that dude who lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah, Boston has that mustache guy.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's
who,
so
like,
enthusiastic.
gets jacked up after
He
it.
gets so excited. That's what Florida needs. They need somebody, I don't know who, but somebody like Flo Rida to come
Dude,
out.
that was what I was gonna say. Flo Rida and Pimple. Like, he's like, I don't even know how the
And then-
American anthem
and
goes.
then-
I just need one line.
Say can you?
Oh, say, can you, Pimple? Come on, everybody, can you see? Can you see? Like, they just keep going.
Oh, God.
And then in Anaheim, they'll get T-Pain.
Whoa, yeah.
Then the
I'll say, can you see? Like,
Detroit will get Eminem. Look. Okay.
can you see? Can you see? Little Caesars. You're like, what? What's going on?
What?
New York would have like the greatest. That's not fair for anyone in New York because they have like
Nashville would have the best too because
dude, Nashville anthems. They're just getting like everyone famous who lives in Nashville. Like obviously they have in their back pocket Carrie Underwood, Mrs. Fisher. That's
No, she's definitely just.
yeah. Carrie
He's
Underwood.
Mr. Underwood.
He's Mr. Okay, either way, we have
She
Mr.
kept her
Underwood's
on there.
wife Carrie, who's fantastic, and then they have like just so many like country singers.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
man, they're good at
I
singing.
wonder if you
anthems.
can say anything to get under his skin because even if you call him Miss Underwood or like Mr. Underwood, like what is he gonna like? How would you get offended by
Carrie
that?
Underwood. Fuck you.
I have children and a family with Carrie Underwood. My life is great.
I can retire tomorrow and I don't need to be the breadwinner. All your wives are counting on you. My wife makes more money than anybody in this league.
In a year, for sure she
Oh, for
does,
sure.
right?
Oh,
Why
yeah.
she bring in like $30 million a year, probably, if that more.
She should buy the Predators.
She might. I don't know if she has that much money. She might need a
She
silent
might.
backer.
She might need a
Dude,
son.
you know what I would be if I got in
How
a
funny
fight
would that
with
be?
Mike Fisher, like fist fight, and then he's like, "Oh, send over a stick." I'm like, "Can you send over a signed CD instead, please, please, Mike?" What? Signed vinyl? My bad, vinyl. Yeah, sure, buddy. What's your address? Give it to you after the game, man. Thanks. So cool, so cool. Now, sign it to lucky eBay winner, please. Wait, what? Just lucky eBay winner. Times are tough over here. Thanks. That's what I would get assigned.
So where we see the Ducks Oilers series end up before we move on to
Okay. I want it to end in 5 with Oilers winning, so it's over real fast. Because the longer this series goes,
The
more
likely
momentum the Ducks
are
get,
gonna win.
and that's scary. But what do I want to see? I'd like to see 7 games. You know what? 7 games, quadruple overtime. So we get 8 games.
see what I'd prefer to see is I'd like to see Edmonton win game 4, which is tomorrow. The reason why I'd like to see that is because it'll put Edmonton in the right position to because then they're in the driver's seat. When you're up 3-1, really, even if Anaheim wins game 5, you have the chance to win the series game 6 at home and go to the Western Conference Finals where you're going to get shit kicked out of you by Nashville Predators. Regardless of that, you're still going to get a chance to win at home. It's
That's
going to
some
be
hot
great.
takes you got, Greg.
I have many
But
hot
no,
takes.
I do. Yeah, puts them in the driver's seat. So you want them to win at 6 at home, or
Yeah.
okay?
And I think that's the way the series is going to go. I could see an overtime game in either game 4 or game 6 settling it.
How did they win in game 6? Oh yeah, they had home ice. Never mind. Okay.
Also, I'm going to do a quick public service announcement after the Blues-Preds series.
A public service announcement?
Public service announcement.
Like this at podcast we're talking? Like today?
Yeah, today. I have a service announcement.
Well,
for
we're
people.
on it right
no,
now.
No, I want to do it after the Blues-Preds.
Well, that's the next series. We
yeah.
only have one series left.
I know. After that, I'm going to do a public service announcement.
Why don't we just go into it then?
Okay. So, Preds are up 2-1 over the St. Louis Blues.
Okay.
In
Yeah,
the
I
series.
didn't realize.
Yeah.
We're talking about it now.
Yeah, I know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? Well, you didn't know where I was
why
going
would
with
you
it?
say that? If we're
Because
not-
I came up with it in my head, and then I was like, no, but we have to get to this.
and you're
first.
like, you know what? I'm going to say it before I do it.
Exactly,
Okay,
because
got it.
otherwise I'd forget.
Okay. The Preds Blues. I've watched
Pleds Blues.
Plague Blues. I've watched
Best
not
podcast
one whole
ever.
game. Not one whole game. I've watched bits and pieces. All I know is I'm very confident in Ryan Ellis' abilities, and that's why I picked him. And I'm surprised Dan didn't take PK as the tiebreaker. Because Romanios, he's fantastic.
He'd be kicking your ass right now if you picked
But
PK.
Ryan Ellis, like, 1 every 2 times he assists on PK, but PK's doing real good.
You know what's great is, everybody compared PK Subban and Shea Weber during the regular season, and now look at PK. He's got more points than Shea Weber does in the playoffs, and more games played.
You know what? I cursed David.
Stretch!
I cursed David Poyle, and
Why?
And who's the GM of Montreal again?
Bergevin.
I curse them, and I curse the Devils GM, so Shiro, and the Edmonton GM.
Why?
Because those comparisons, they're never going away ever. Forever.
Oh, no.
They're never ever going to go
Never.
away.
And people are still sitting there wondering, they're like... Because Adam Larson had 2 goals in Game 1 for the Edmonton Oilers. And people are like, well, I guess I can put to bed the whole Larson doesn't know how to score like PK can. But it's still, like, a lot of people are still wondering, how is there never a Taylor Hall for PK Subban trade on the table? Like, ever.
I bet you it happened.
It had to have been.
Who's going to make that tell-all book and, like, let that go?
Bob McKenzie.
Wait, did you guys hear that
Pierre LeBrun.
Sean Avery's coming out with a tell-all book? I'm buying that. I'm reading that the day it comes out. Because that's going to be the best book ever.
As long as it doesn't have pictures of his male modeling stints.
I hope he's on the cover in a male modeling stint. I hope it's all him. I'll buy it anyways, because those stories are going to be crazy. Because he's not afraid of anyone.
So the biggest story to come out of the Blues Preds series so far would be Kevin Fiala's injury and Cam's rejection to join the newest hashtag, which is hashtag jerseys for Fiala. So if
Greg,
you haven't
did you order
noticed,
yours already?
I haven't gotten around to it.
Let's get around to what hashtag jerseys for Fiala is.
We all go out and we buy a Kevin Fiala jersey. Why do we do
him.
that? Because he broke his fibia.
Femur. Which is the strongest, the biggest. No, it's the strongest bone in your body.
Biggest bone in your body too.
Okay, and most people, Dan told us, if like one of your major arteries in your leg is runs along it, and Dan, when he put that in a group, he said, "Yeah, most people die from if they break your femur." So he's like, "I'm surprised." Like
not pro athletes.
Well, yeah, of course, because they're good to go. Yeah. But like he's like, "There's." Yeah, that was. You know what?
And
that
delayed the game.
It was just an awkward. Yeah. It was just an awkward tumble with Bertuzzo.
Yeah.
Like I thought.
Yeah, awkward tumble. Must have been dirty though, right?
No, I was about to say. Let me finish my next line. When I first heard that Kevin Fiala broke his femur, first thought I was like, "Well, Ryan Reeves and Jake Allen did it." Because Jake Allen's an monster. He's a silent killer, guys. All those trip ups by his net.
He actually tripped him. Oh, he tripped him, then Bertuzzo. No, I'm just joking. That's the way Cam watched it. That's how he watched that happen. He's like,
no. I saw that one, and like the way Bertuzzo even reacted, he looked up and he's like, and he did like the mini wave, like, hey, you guys want to come take a peek at this real quick?
I'm pretty sure
his white jersey's not supposed to be like old Phoenix Coyotes color. What is happening? No, you didn't.
Yeah, so broken femur. So we're doing jerseys for Fiala. The problem is both Dan and I are on board for this, but Cam unfortunately is not. He doesn't want to support a guy
I've
who
said it multiple times. I don't wear. I barely wear any of the jerseys I own, so I banned them a while. You don't think I would own a Provorov jersey right now? I talked about them all last year, a lot this year.
Now you could get 2 Brandon Wheat Kings on.
Well, once we get there, for sure.
But yeah, so disappointing. Obviously, Fiala is a very good depth player for the Nashville Predators. Game 4 is happening tonight. How do you see that shaking down? Or how do you see the rest of the series, really?
I thought the Edmonton game's tonight.
No, that's tomorrow night.
What?
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
I have my hopes up. I thought
you got to watch good hockey tonight, and then you can watch better hockey tomorrow.
That's a way to put it, yeah, I guess. I'm going to watch both.
I like that. I've really enjoyed watching Nashville.
I like all the series right now.
By the way, I want to put this...
I have not watched a single game of. I think I've seen 4 minutes, and it was the Fiala hit, and after that I was like, I gotta turn this off. I can't watch this.
There's 5 minutes of Jesus.
Yeah, and I turned it off, and I was like, no.
I would really like to see Nashville do an outdoor game next year.
In Nashville?
Yeah.
Did Carrie Underwood sing the anthem?
Carrie Underwood sing the anthem.
That's a given.
Yeah, but I think they could pull it off. The fans clearly support them a little more than the Ottawa Senators fans, because for those who don't know, Game 2. They didn't sell out Game 2 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Think about that in Winnipeg terms. It's hard to get a ticket in December. It would be impossible to get a ticket in late April.
No, that's a bad example for Jets fans. It's hard to get tickets to games in April.
Yeah.
When they're already out of the playoffs by like 10 points. And you're like, guys, they're playing Carolina. I just want the ticket. I love watching Carolina play. And everyone you go to is like, nah, bro, I'm going to the game. Sorry.
I really want to see Scott Darling play.
Yeah. Scott Darling, acquired by Carolina. So Eddie Lack for sure not being protected. Eddie Lack, clear the track, going to Vegas. I doubt it.
Potentially.
I'd like. Ooh, you know what?
Apparently, like Vegas has had trade talks with almost every team. Like
Yeah.
they might have more first and second round picks than anyone ever. In
They
the
might
draft.
own the whole first round.
Exactly.
Not a great draft to own the first round.
No,
they
but
might.
still.
Well, no, wait. What's the bare minimum of players you need to be okayed to play a game?
22.
Oh, you have to have 22
20.
every game? 20?
Well, 12, 6, and 2 goalies.
Okay, 20. Done.
Yeah.
They're going to have a roster of 20. That's it for the whole year. They don't have a farm system.
Well,
They're going to sign guys on the fly. Hey, ATO, come on, buddy. What number do you want? 72. Perfect. Up on in.
I
Let's
have.
go.
I don't have a for sure theory, but I have a bit of a theory with
Yep.
what's going to happen with Las Vegas. We're going to save that for the draft lottery.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Which
you're
we're
about
gonna
to
get
talk
to.
about it publicly, so make sure you know what you're talking
Yes.
about here.
So I want to see the Preds obviously win in hopefully 5, but probably 6 games. I have really enjoyed watching Nashville Predators games. I think they have a new bandwagon fan in me. I really like their team.
In Nashville?
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah.
I'm not going to downturn. See, but right now,
Do you want to see
especially
Preds
everyone
Oilers?
left-
Do you want to see Preds Oilers?
That's what
Do you want to
happened.
see Preds
Yeah.
Oilers? Western
anyone
Conference
to
with-
stop the evil regime that is St. Louis.
or Anaheim? I do not want to see Anaheim.
I'm okay with Anaheim.
I still
because
don't
I
like
trust
Randy Carlyle.
Nashville to beat Anaheim.
Oh, okay.
But in Edmonton, Nashville, I'll pick a winner.
Yeah.
But they're both winners, so it
Yeah,
doesn't matter. I'll
exactly.
be like, no, Ryan Ellis. Yes, Ryan Ellis. Oh, dang it, McDavid, you're so good. Why did you score that overtime winner?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that'd be jacked up. Any team left in the playoffs right now, I like watching. There's only 2 teams I don't want to win the cup. Actually, 3. Let me correct it. There's one whole team in St. Louis. There's like a half team in the Rangers, and there's just Tom Wilson and Matt Niskanen that I don't want to win a cup. If Washington wins, is there any way that Wilson doesn't get a ring?
No.
Dang
He's
it.
already played a game.
Then, well, Ovi, you wait until you trade Tom Wilson. Then I'll support you. And they're like, guys, we're bringing back Matt Koch. I'm like, damn it, Ovi, I trusted you. Why didn't you go to
And
the
training
office?
for Desimov. No. So, public service announcement I have is if you're one of those people who spends all this flippin' money to sit in the front row or front 3 rows in the playoffs and you know you're on TV side,
Don't flip people
don't
off.
flip off the refs, the other players. Why? You look stupid and you're embarrassing yourself.
Greg, we already talked about this a couple podcasts ago. They want to be a part of the hashtag Double Bird Classic regime. And that's how you
Yesterday,
do it.
Did you see that when?
No, I didn't.
It was who was the player? It was one of the Penguins defensemen. It was Trevor Daley. Took out, I believe, it was Marcus Johansson, and put Washington on the power play in overtime. And this woman right behind the refs, just like, "Fuck you, you stupid idiot!" It's like, no,
Buddy,
that's
the voice I actually like. I'm not kidding. In my head too, that's what I
that's
hear.
the voice.
You idiot! You look so stupid. Some either Schmiegel as well. I don't know. Like seriously. Yeah, you all have jobs.
that's the
on
public service
national
announcement I have.
television. Yeah, I'm on
And
with that.
people are going to remember that. And honestly, I still remember the lady who flipped off Melker Karlsson in game 1 of round 1 because you look stupid.
Yep.
Not only does the orange Edmonton Oilers jersey look silly already, now you look even stupider.
How
By the
dare
way,
you? Orange Crush is alive and well. They
I know
didn't
it is.
steal that
No,
from
they
anyone
didn't.
at all.
by the way, best playoff follow is Down Grows Brown. Why? Because he ruins things for you. What did he ruin for me yesterday? Pointed out 2 guys wearing the exact same sweaters behind the Pittsburgh goaltending in overtime.
What do you
They
mean?
were wearing the same exact fluorescent hoodies,
That's cute.
They probably did that
4
on purpose.
seats apart.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.
So what you're
So
saying
you're
is
just
Down
staring at
Goes
it for the
Brown
rest
is
of
very observational, and
yeah,
Greg isn't. That's what
and
we
my
learned.
my favorite thing
They're
is he's like,
fluorescent.
yeah, I know, but like sometimes you don't notice it. When someone points it out to you, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And he's always that guy that's like, hey guys, I don't want to do this to you. But did you notice the 2 guys behind there wearing like bright pink shirts?
Because now I can imagine it every time it got rung around. You
Oh.
weren't even watching the puck. You looked and saw the
Yeah.
guys, and then you're like, no, not again.
And the worst part is one of the guys left for a little while, and then a guy with a yellow hoodie popped up. So and they were like a section apart, and then the other guy came back. I'm like, what the fuck is up? Like, did you guys go
They
hunting
started
and go to the game?
multiplying.
So the draft lottery.
Yep.
High hopes for Winnipeg Jets. They really wanted that, and I remember I was sitting in a room with a bunch of people before before the Pens Caps Game 2 came on, and everyone was excited. They were hoping the Jets could go 2 for 2 straight years of positive stuff, but that didn't happen. Their name popped up 13th place, which meant the Philadelphia Flyers went up, Dallas Stars also went up, and New Jersey Devils moved up, which meant both the Colorado Avalanche, who have to be running the most sad Twitter account right now.
Okay, when it got announced,
Here's Carl Soderberg. He had 10 goals in 71 games
dude,
last
did you see
year.
the night, like literally half hour after they found out that they were drafting 4th and Vancouver was 5th?
Yeah.
Colorado tweeted at Vancouver, sup. Vancouver tweeted at Colorado, sup, and Colorado tweeted back a picture of Landeskog in an interview where, like, you know when you look away and you're out of breath, so you look down? It's like, sup, and he's just like... That's what they replied. It was so depressing. I was like, no, I don't want to... I mean, okay, I know I like trash talk every team pretty much, but this is what the draft lottery is for, to help teams like this, like, give them a shining hope. But and they didn't get it.
I still don't believe that Colorado is that bad. I just think that they had a tough coaching situation. On top of that, they just never got any output of their best players this year.
Did they fire their coach?
Well, I think so. I don't know for sure, but
I'd imagine, but like...
They need to fire Joe Sakic. Unfortunately, as much as I like Joe Sakic as a player, I just don't think he's done a good enough job. I don't think that he's... It's the same with Mark Bergevin, I feel that they just need a shake-up there to change that team around a bit for the future. But, so it finished off, obviously, with New Jersey picking first, Dallas picking second, Philadelphia picking second, Dallas picking third, then Colorado, Vancouver, and then I believe it goes Vegas after that. So Vegas gets 6th overall pick. I'm not really sure who's projected at 6th overall.
There's literally, after you go 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, I think, it's just a crapshoot, so...
Well, the one guy I'm hoping falls to the Leafs is Timo Liljegren, or Timothy Liljegren, but I don't think
There's
that'll
no
happen.
way that if he gets to Winnipeg and they don't take him.
Yeah.
According to Craig Button's mock draft, number 6 would be centerman Michael Rasmussen.
Okay.
So
Not bad.
I think they're going to try and go for a center, or like a forward to at least...
I agree. I also... Yeah, I have some theories because, honestly, I look at 2 teams that have high draft picks, and I don't know if they're necessarily going to stay there. This is one of those drafts that you can look at it and you can say, well, you have Philadelphia, who really doesn't need a top 2 pick, and you have Dallas, who doesn't really need a top 3 pick. So if they can trade those for an asset to put them from going, playoff bubble to better than that, like to actually make the playoffs, be a consistent team, I think they take that advantage. Because regardless, Philadelphia's in a very strong position because you have the opportunity to draft either Nico Hischier or Nolan Patrick, who both are going to be solid contributors in this league at, whether it's next year, probably won't be next year, but the year after.
They both play next year.
Okay. Whether it's next year or the year after, they're both going to be solid contributors to their team. So they have to look like, if I'm Philadelphia, I'm listening to everybody and anybody. And
I'm sure they are at this point too. Because,
I think that it's going to come down until after the expansion draft where we hear something heat up, because what I could see happening for both Dallas and Philadelphia is, let's say, Fleury, Bishop, there's Fleury, there's Bishop, there's lots of goalies out there, but if, let's say Fleury goes to Las Vegas, and then Las Vegas also picks up another really, picks up Eddie Lack, and I'm trying to think of another solid goalie.
Mrazek?
What? Mrazek or Howard or something like that. I could see Dallas moving in and saying, we'll give you our pick for that. Or Philadelphia stepping in and saying, we'll give you a pick for Fleury or something like that. Because I think that they're going to be one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Attractive trade targets would be Las Vegas, because they're just trying to build a team that's going to win. But I think they also need to build excitement, and you build excitement by being able to get draft picks and exciting players to your organization. And if, let's say, Philadelphia is like, we'll put our 2nd overall pick for, these players and your 2nd round pick or whatever it might be, that could be stepping stones for both teams being successful and could put Vegas on the fast track. And, Gary Bettman would be in love with that deal anyways.
And if Nolan Patrick ends up in Vegas, I mean, it's already built in like Patrick's party.
It is. And
like,
he already
that
has
could
a
be a
friend.
section.
He already has a friend.
Yeah, Reed Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Him and
yes,
Reed Duke
yes.
can just be like,
Well, and Kelly McCrimmon.
started from Brandon, now we're here. We started from Brandon, now we're here.
Now it's started from the Brandon. Now we're in LV. Started from the Brandon. Totally comparable cities. We've got one's a city, one's one metropolis.
Can we see
Go.
both Stars goalies possibly being in Vegas next year?
No.
I'm thinking.
Don't you do
No.
it.
One. Only one. You get one. You get Anthony Niemi and that's it.
What's the
Yeah,
other
but
one?
with
Carl
that-
London?
Carl London.
Ugh. I don't want either of those.
But why would
did
they take those
sign
contracts?
Niemi? Why did they do that?
Because
Okay, here.
Jim Neal believed that the league was going to a 2-goalie system and you needed 2 goalies to win. Go, Matt.
Oh, sorry. I lost my train of thought there. Okay, so they're going to probably take one for the expansion if they're going to give him a second round. I'm just going to say Dallas isn't drafting this year. I'm just going to throw that out there. And then Las Vegas is going to take Fleury.
Okay.
And they're going to be like, hey, trade you Letton in our first for Fleury. And they're going to be like, well, sure. Both goalies in Dallas, 2 draft picks, but Dallas gets Fleury back. Bam, they're a playoff team again.
Could be interesting. Reason why I don't think that'll happen is just because I don't know if they want that commitment from average goaltending there. I just don't know if they want that because then
They
realistically,
can have one of them sit in the press box or in the minors because they're not going to be able to get to the cap floor, essentially.
True.
For what people are
predicting.
predicting. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
because in all reality, if you look at it, like unless they take Matt Martin off Toronto's hands, and trust me, Las Vegas, I'll dish you what Matt Martin's all about. He's a guy that's worth every dollar. He's going to work hard for you. He's a leader in the room, and you want a player like him on your team. And if you take him by chance and the Leafs don't protect him, I'll be a little upset. No, I won't. But they'll end up taking. There'll be a lot of kind of guys on their last years of their entry level deals, or their first deals that they signed. They're $950 million. So yeah, they will have trouble. But I think that's why they'll sign Ben Bishop in the offseason as well. Or twist thing could happen that the Kings
Trade Jonathan Quick.
to Las Vegas for their pick. So what happens is Las Vegas trades their pick to Dallas. So Dallas gets Fleury, then Quick goes to Las Vegas. So Vegas still gets their second overall pick and then trades their 6th overall to LA.
That'd be, this is a lot of talking for like what might potentially happen. That'd be sweet. I just want to see
Although I
these
don't know if
teams
Las
be
Vegas
more competitive. I want Vegas to be competitive, and I want to see Dallas better because then it just makes better hockey on TV for the Jets because we get a lot of Jets games on TV.
And the other thing too is you don't want to waste talents of Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. And honestly, like if there's a way that Dallas can move the contracts of Niemi and Lettinen, that's $10 million. If they can move that to get a goalie that's better than the two of them for half the price or 60% of the price, so about $6 million. I think Fleury's at 5.5.
Yeah, he's
So-
around there.
something like that.
5.25, I think.
Okay. If they can work that out, then you have the ability to sign a new defenseman like a Michael Stone or Carl Alsner for $4.5 million.
Yeah.
And that's for the other thing. The last note I want to make is you could also look out to Dallas going to New Jersey and saying, hey, 3rd overall pick for Corey Schneider.
I don't think the Devils move Schneider.
I don't think they move Schneider, but
I think this getting the 1st overall pick has really progressed them a lot because
or do they trade it?
They weren't a bad team. They
No.
just had some. Schneider played the worst he's ever played.
Well, I honestly thought they were going to be a playoff team.
And as we already know, Kovalchuk wants back in the league,
And he would end up playing with Nolan Patrick.
or Nico Hischier.
Yeah.
Yeah, or some people even think they're going to somehow trade
It's a sign and trade if they do it.
or they're going to somehow trade Devils or going
Trade
to
their first overall.
trade their pick to Colorado, somehow finagle McKinnon, and then it'll be Hall, McKinnon, Kovalchuk on one line.
Yeah, right.
They,
If Nathan McKinnon's available,
you're giving up a lot more than just that first overall
definitely
pick.
Philadelphia. I wouldn't be against trading most of the team to acquire. I'm gonna say there's a few guys who I'm pretty sure I know we're not trading. Like,
But
Is it
honestly,
time
no
to cut ties with Giroux? He's only
no,
going down.
don't you
He's
start with
only
me.
going
No,
down.
Here's
Remember
my
that
question.
argument we had?
Here's my question to
When?
you, Cam.
I think it was 2 years ago, where I was talking about if I was building a team now, I would have taken Scheifele over Giroux, and you both made fun of
That's
me.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
Scheifele
but,
still
hey,
can't skate
guess
over
what?
a blue line
I'm
without
right
falling.
now. I'm right now.
And guess what? Now they're
And guess
both...
what? It's been 2 years, and my team's.
I've
looking
said
up.
a lot of stuff I could say I'm right now. The Jets, I knew they weren't going to win a cup for the next 2 years. I'm right now. I did it.
Okay, but we're talking about 2 years of a player progressing that you did not think was going to happen, and I did.
Well, I haven't seen any progression from Scheifele at all. He didn't get it.
Here's my
$50
question.
million
I want to ask you a
contract.
question, Cam. Philadelphia third overall pick.
Second overall pick.
Second overall pick, sorry.
Yep.
Do they go to Montreal and say, hey, we want Alex Galchenyuk and Nathan Beaulieu and your
Great.
first round pick?
Great. So, if it's a second overall pick in Philadelphia, there's a reason everyone's gaffing at the Weber PK deal because Philadelphia made that deal. They made it to bankrupt Nashville. We're trading it for just Shea Weber, obviously. And you know what? You take Couturier, too. We're getting Weber back home. He's coming.
Honestly, if there's
Dude,
a guy,
that'd be crazy.
If there's a guy I could see leaving Philadelphia this year, it would be Wayne Simmons. And I know that sounds far fetched, but
but because right now
he fetches so much value.
and he's on currently on. He's got 3 years left on the best. The top 10 contracts in the league, I would say.
Is he getting paid like 3.9 or what?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, or-
3.95.
yeah,
Maybe
it's-
even with bonuses, I think it clocks in at like 4.5,
4.15 or
Yeah,
something like that. Like
it's ridiculous.
And he's a very good player, and he's a guy I want to see on the Toronto Maple Leafs so
Oh,
badly.
send
Okay, I got. You know what, Greg? Since you brought it up.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm Hextall.
I'm which one am I? Am I Lou, Shanahan, or Dubas?
You're Dubas.
Or Hunter?
Oh wait, I'm Hextall. I'm old. I got to talk to Lou.
Okay.
It's not that I don't appreciate Kyle Dubas. I just don't respect his opinion because he's not old like me.
Okay.
So he's probably calling Lou and being like, okay, second overall. But, I mean, you got this nasty, snarly defenseman I like. And Connor Carrick. It starts with Connor Carrick. I know, now as an outside thinker, you're like, well, that's crazy. Well, Hextall knows, he loves those goddamn intangibles. I'll tell you that right now. He loves those goddamn stupid intangibles. I like Connor Carrick, though. So we're starting with Connor Carrick.
Okay.
And then let's hop on down to I think the first line. You know, you got a really good player, like hidden gem, you could say, in Zach Hyman. Obviously, I'm taking Zach Hyman too. And then you know what? I don't want to take too much from you guys. Tossing Connor Brown, you got a deal. What do you think? What are we thinking?
And then
See
Lou
what I
Lamoriello
did?
comes back,
Yeah.
and he says,
And he says,
Go
"Hey,
fuck yourself."
You know what? If you're tossing Gudas,
You're done. Why? No. You know what he says? He says,
Jim here.
"There's
What?
two." Yeah. Why was Jim
here?
I don't know.
Jim just came out of nowhere. It's like, fuck yourself.
Yeah,
Toronto's not
tossing Gudas, boys. And then he's like, oh, I can't wait to draft Casey Middlestat. Oh, my God. You're like, Jimmy, please stop. And he's like, they promised us first. They promised me first. They took away my corn dogs. He promised me first. And now I'm number 5. I don't even like Buck.
Again.
Casey
They're num-
Rasmussen. How many fucking those is
They're
that?
they're number 5 again for the second straight year after being inside the top 3. But regardless of that, no, you don't get that.
No.
You can have one of our best centers this year. He was our only center in our top 3 centers to not score 30 goals.
You can piss off with Tyler Bozak.
You get
the fuck
Tyler
outta here.
Bozak.
No!
He grows a nice flow. He's great in shootouts.
You already had me at flow.
No,
That's
you
a
gotta
deal.
Send JVR back.
No.
No!
Oh,
you're
no.
ambitious. Don't toast us again. Don't do it, Ron. Don't even answer the. If you see any phone number area code starting with a 6, don't answer it. It's Lou Lamoriello. He's gonna sweet talk his away. He's gonna even take his teeth out and be like, "Look at the cool tricks I can do," and drink water, take his teeth out, and spray all the holes out of where his teeth should be.
And
Don't get tantalized by Lou. It's not happening.
Speaking of the Toronto Maple Leafs,
Go.
they made a signing today.
They did.
Nikita Zaitsev.
Yep.
7 years, $4.5 million.
I want to know Don Cherry's.
Oh, we'll know. We'll know.
We'll find out.
It's Tuesday today. Just have to wait. Just
No,
another
he might
week.
talk about it today.
Oh,
he
really?
might-
Oh, he's on.
he's
Right, it's
he's on,
playoffs.
yeah.
Oh, it's probably gonna be. Go get a rush of that money. You're gonna
Well,
give
he-
it back to Putin Bill and Bob. Come after me. You're like, Tom. What
Quick-
the hell are you talking about?
Quick note about Don Cherry was he was very mad at Evgeny Kuznetsov for doing the flying like a bird after he scored a goal. Let let kids have fun. Let them have fun. Honestly, who cares if he's Russian? Let him have fun.
After him, Cam.
Let him have fun.
No.
Jared Cam.
Okay. Jenny Kuznetsov. I side more with Cherry, per se, in little too much.
Oh, yeah.
But it is okay.
Okay.
I don't like it at the time when it happens, but when I watch it, it's hilarious because he even does the face of the, oh, and you can see he's making a noise on the ice, but no one knows what that noise is.
No.
Can he get mic'd up for a game? Just let him score for sure, because I want to hear the noise. He could be going like a guttural, like, oh, or he could be like, wee! Yeah,
Are you just...
or oh, that makes way more sense.
Bird noises.
Okay. I have a tweet saved, and it's in my drafts ready to go if Washington loses, but I feel like I've cursed myself by doing that.
Okay, so Zaitsev, 7 years, $4.5 million per season. What do you think, Matt?
Well, it's a high value for a player who, if you ask Don Cherry, doesn't play defense, but is a defenseman. It's kind of like the Clef Bomb. It's exactly like it. You didn't get a lot of... What am I looking for here?
Spectrum.
Sure.
No, wait. What
Didn't get a lot of a sample.
Yes.
To
a
evaluate
very
him
small
now.
sample size for giving him that long of a contract. And, were his numbers that good? I don't know. I don't follow the Toronto Maple. Were they good numbers?
48 points, I think.
That's not bad.
I'll check.
I think he's overplayed in his role.
I don't think he's a number one. I don't think he's a top 2 defenseman, personally.
I think he's a 4-5 guy in there. He's in the 2-3 position.
Well, I think
so
he's
who
a
are you
better.
putting ahead of him then?
Well, that's the thing is the Leafs don't have good enough D.
But
They're
here's
working.
my argument.
Well, I know they are, and I'm not saying anything bad about their team.
Yeah.
I just think he's overplayed.
When he was his most efficient this year, and I have my own thoughts about the contract, which I'll get to in a second, but I want Cam to tell me what he thinks. When he was most effective was when he was playing with Gardner, when they kind of swapped Zaitsev and Carrick, and Gardner played with Zaitsev, and that defensive pairing looked very strong. And we know, or if you've watched Toronto, Gardner doesn't play that strong of defense. He'll do some awesome plays offensively. He's one of the most offensively gifted defensemen, I think, in the league. He just doesn't show it as he's just not as flashy as Karlsson, but he has those flashy moments. I don't think he's as good as Karlsson, but I think he's talented. That's when he played his best hockey. So I think if they can limit his minutes and allow him to play more of a 3-4 role, I think he's going to be more successful, which means they have to go out and get a 2. And there aren't very many right-handed shot defensemen that are top-line material other than Kevin Shattenkirk right now. And it could be a tough decision, but I have my own thoughts about the contract. I want to hear what you think first.
Well, I was going to say, just to answer Matt's question and what you mentioned, when Zaitsev and Gardner played together and they were one of the better tandems in the league, the reason Don Cherry thinks that he's not not defensive enough as a defenseman, doesn't play defense, is because what made them so great is that they had the puck a lot of the time. But when you're in the defensive zone, they didn't have many starts. Unless there was an icing, they weren't in their defensive zone starting very often. They usually start in either the neutral zone or in the offensive zone. I personally like the signing. I mean, it's not once you hit the $5 million is where people start paying attention to you. It's basically like some people say oh, I'm rich now and people try and sue me all the time. But the happy medium zone is once you hit if you make $500,000 or less a year, that's where people you're wealthy enough to live and enjoy life, but people aren't going to sue you. I learned that from Ty Lopez on YouTube. You know who Ty Lopez is if you've ever watched YouTube and don't have ad block on. He's a guy who's oh hey, you know what I find more valuable than my 4 Lamborghinis in my garage? Knowledge.
Oh, that guy.
You know who that guy is. Anyways, I think they're getting pretty good bang for their buck. Sure, maybe they paid a little bit more, but again, they're banking on hope, which is okay, because $4.5 million, I'm totally okay banging on hope with $4.5 million, and it's not even hope because we've seen what Zaitsev can do. So I'm okay with it, but I'm definitely, you want to put him with some I would keep him with Gardner. I mean, I thought they played great. But it'd be cool. It'd be interesting to see if Toronto again makes a move for either Noah Hannafin or tries to get Carl Alsner if he doesn't end up in Vegas.
Or Kevin Shattenkirk.
I don't want the Kevin Shattenkirk because then Zaitsev can't wear 22 because Kevin Shattenkirk is going to come in and be like, I want it. Lou, I want it. He's like, give it to him. Give it to him.
Blockbuster.
Yeah. What?
Drew Doughty.
In Toronto?
Oh, Oh, don't do that to me.
Because then I can't cheer for Toronto. So
They,
please don't.
I've heard
Then Connor Carrick has to give up his number.
Yeah, that's another. Like, I like Connor Carrick.
I like Connor Carrick too.
Hold on.
Okay, so why?
there's just like I heard a couple of like I think it was either Craig Button or somebody talking about like Drew Doughty might not be happy in LA anymore because they're not winning, and might accept a trade out of LA, and the Toronto Maple Leafs have some pieces. Like, because if you're doing this trade, you're definitely giving up one of Nylander or
No.
Well, I'm just
No,
I know.
If you're bringing in a defenseman with that talent, you're giving up a first-round pick, you're giving up Nylander, and maybe something else.
They're not partying with any of their big three. I can tell you that right now.
Well, then you're not getting Doughty.
I know.
I'm just saying.
I know.
Don't tell
And
me
that's-
Doughty's available, because now Ron Hextall knows he's available. Don't
There
do
goes
this to
that
me,
second
Ronnie.
overall pick.
Don't do this to me, Ronnie. Please. Don't.
As interesting as it would be to pick up a guy like Drew Doughty, no.
Why? Is Drew Doughty right-handed?
Yeah, he's a right-handed defenseman.
no.
He's
Perfect.
good.
No.
It's literally perfect for the Leafs. But
But
you're
a
giving
lot
up
of
Nylander.
talk. A lot of talk is going that the Leafs are going to go after Chris Tanev, and they're going to have Chris Tanev
Guys.
as their
You don't want to do that.
why?
There's only 2 Canadian teams who didn't make the playoffs, and both of those teams have 10 Fs. We've
Yes,
been
'cause
over
that's
this.
what it is.
That's the
It's
only
not Jim
like,
Benning.
Nope. It was no, that's not Jim Benning.
But I
Jim Benning
wanna-
tried getting rid of Tanev, and Tanev's like, I won't take any trade. He's like, you don't even have a no trade clause. He's like, I won't do it, Jimmy. Your move. And then Jimmy just went back to his office and sat by the fireplace and stared.
So
hours.
here's where I sit on the contract, and this is the last thing we'll talk about, and then we'll go to the outro because
Go.
unless you have other stuff to talk about. The Leafs right now have their top 3 defensemen in Zaitsev, Gardner, and Morgan Riley signed for the next 2 seasons for a total of $13.55 million for the next 2 seasons because Gardner's contract expires in 2 years. Same with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner expire in 2 years.
An expensive year.
It's going to be an expensive summer, regardless of that. Jake Gardner's probably going to get re-signed at some point for about 5.25. But in the next 2 years, if you think about it, this team grew to a playoff team this year. They'll probably be in the playoffs again next year, and they could actually go deep. If they have the flexibility right now to go out and go get a rental player, a la Drew Doughty, but probably won't happen. But that strong talent, because they have so little expenditures on the back end. In a real, like, personally, the way I look at it is I think if you have $40 million of your cap spent on your top 12 on your forwards, you have $40 million across your forwards, $30 million then reserved for defensemen and goaltending. So they have $5 million in Frederick Anderson. They're still under $20 million for their top 4, including Connor Carrick. So they can go out, they can go sign 2 other defensemen at $5 million apiece, and they're at that $30 million mark. They'll have some interesting stuff because they have so much LTIR with Horton, Lupul, and now Roby does off the books. They have a very interesting summer ahead of them, and they are in a power position to go out and get a Chris Tanev, a Michael Stone, even though I don't think he's as great as everyone thinks he is, Carl Alsner, Kevin Shattenkirk. They're in a power position this year. They have the money to play around and go get a couple guys, but I think this Zaitsev deal gives them flexibility in the future because if you think about it, if they believe that Zaitsev and Riley are their top pairing, they have this top pairing for their 6 years at less than $10 million. And that's where that comes in as being probably the best top pairing for the cheapest amount of money. What?
Wouldn't it be 4 years?
I thought Riley
Didn't
was...
sign a 5-year deal?
I thought it was 7-year deal.
It was no. There's no way it was
No?
7. It was
That
either
was-
6 or 5. So
I'll check that Riley.
yeah.
Then I'm wrong. Either way, even if it's 4 years, you have this talent for the next 4 years, which is very cheap.
I'm still thinking about the Drew Doughty thing. I don't want that to happen. I like cheering for Toronto. I can't cheer for more Doughty.
Yeah, I know, that's...
And if Drew Doughty becomes a Philadelphia Flyer, it's...
I'm not saying
I
he's
think
available.
I'm going to
saying
pick up...
he was-
I'm going to start watching... What was the sport we were talking about with Mr. X from St. Louis? What's the game? Cricket, because we were talking about... Matt and I, to fill everyone else in, Matt was saying how, you know that gentleman on Twitter last year in the playoffs? He's like... He watched a
that
hockey
guy.
game. He's like, this is hilarious. I wasn't a big fan of that, like that specific instance, because they were rewarding a guy for just like discovering the sport instead of the fans who've been around for like decades.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, but I mean, I also hate fun a lot of the time, so that's okay.
You're a classic hockey fan. You hate fun.
Well, and I send people, I cheer for people that intentionally get hurt.
Yeah.
That's all I'm about. And if you disagree with me, I'm sending you a postcard of me and my bum nude. Just kidding. I won't send nude pictures only in the war. You know what? I like how I'm more hesitant to send. This is weird now. A nude picture to anyone,
Hey,
but
guys.
I'll send you a signed picture of me mooning you, like in the postcard.
So here's the thing, guys. We have a really awesome announcement. We're starting a Patreon. $5, you get a signed picture of Cam mooning you.
Monthly.
Yeah, monthly. And it's
The
gonna be
angles are going to change.
the light's gonna be different. Some will be right after he wipes himself. Some will be right after he poops.
Some
There
might be
might be
while
some-
I'm holding it
yeah,
in, clenching. You got that nice defined look. Good, sweet
You might
tones.
see a little bit of poop coming, like just
Or
poking
like
through.
Greg discovered my patented chub and tuck move. No, it's not patented. H3 Productions does it. But this weekend I was modeling some suits I was trying. I was doing the chub and tuck. What the chub and tuck is for H3. I'll tweet out how to chub and tuck. But basically, you tuck in your shirt like underneath your belly, and then you yank up your waist as high as you can at the back, and then you get like the rest of your clothes. You like slide your finger in between your cheeks and pinch, so you get the chub and the tuck. It's sweet. Anyways, to close on it, do you have any closing words?
Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, as usual, you barely talked when we were here because we're too busy
You guys are
yelling
too
at
busy
each
yelling
other.
at each other, so I just kind of
Yeah.
hung back.
I'm sure a few people will appreciate your mom, dad, stop fighting. And like I looked at you and I almost started laughing, and then I'm like, you know what, Greg? No! He has to die! There will be death and blood! It'll be frogs raining! Hellfire! I'm very passionate. And yet
Pajot scored.
Pajot scored?
Oh, he's 4-1.
Buckle up!
It's 4-1.
He's got to get 2 more
It's
now.
4-1 now.
Oh, he needs to get 4 again. And Carlson's like, JG, do it again. And he's like, Eric, I've never done that before in my
Oh,
life.
shocking! Michael Grammer scored. Well, I wonder if the Leafs could have kept him this year.
You know it's going to be fun? When they reacquired him. I hate our teams. They suck. I hate them so much. The stress level they cause on my life is too much.
I love the Leafs. I'm wondering how they're going to finagle, and they have the right guy in Lou, how they're going to finagle around having Matthews probably at about $7.5–8 million in 2 seasons, having William Nylander on probably $5.5 for 5 years. They're going to have to sign Mitch.
Matt keeps doing the up more money.
No.
Matt's doing this because he knows either this summer. I
Well,
hope
Connor
it's not-
McDavid's getting 9 next year.
Connor McDavid's getting 10.
Yeah.
He's getting at least 10.
He's getting
9.7.
He's going to get 10 at 10.
He's getting
And then you're like,
9.7.
you can only sign him for 7. And Chiarelli's like, oh, or 8. And Chiarelli's
9.7
like,
for-
oh, is that right? Oh, I don't know how.
Are we doing the Crosby, then 9.7? Everything's just going to be 9.7?
Yeah, actually, if Austin Matthews could follow that, he'd
Yeah,
just go
yeah,
for 3.4.
Yeah, right.
And then Nolan Patrick gets to Vegas. He's like, can I wear 98? Please? Why? No reason.
Oh, this will be the first year that all those kids won't be able to wear their draft year.
What do you mean?
Or the year they were born.
No, that's next year.
That's next year. 99 is
This
this.
is
Well,
90
they can't wear
they
99.
can't wear
They can't
99.
wear 99.
These kids were born in 1999?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I thought,
No.
I remember when the kids that were born in 1992 started getting drafted because I was born. Cam and I were born in 91. I'm like, it's all downhill from here. It's all downhill.
Yeah.
Because at least before, there was some hope. My draft year was Tavares and Kadri. And
Mine was the Taylor Tyler one because I have a late birthday. No, but yeah.
Which one was mine?
Yeah,
Trouba.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, jeez. Do you have a Trouba jersey?
I don't. I have a Nikki Ehlers
Good jersey.
and a Mark Scheifele.
I'm still
Without the letter. I need to get the letter on there now.
See, I'm waiting to get the Austin Matthews captain jersey,
Which will be next year.
which will be next year. But I'm getting, if I come into some money this summer, I'm going to get a Mitch Marner or William Nylander Centennial Classic jersey.
Well, with that Patreon money, that's extra money.
Yeah.
If you get $10 a month, it's hashtag Greggy's getting a jersey every month money.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to need at least
But
20 people to commit.
Join Jerseys for Fiala. Go out and buy a Kevin Fiala jersey.
You know what? I don't think I could jump behind a cause until someone actually does it. Who's made it? Kevin. Dan and Greg. Dan's not buying any jersey anytime soon. Because
He just bought a house.
I'm going to throw Dan under the bus real quick because I don't know if he'll hear this or not. He didn't answer me back, though, so I'm putting that. We were going to call him, but he said if he doesn't answer, don't call him. Yesterday, Dan and I are going to set up his entertainment system, so his TV, and he got a new TV, but he's buying another one too. He's setting it up, and he goes to put the stand on, and the TV's bigger than the stand. He didn't measure the stand and where the feet were. Because the old one, the center part, like what the holder was right like directly underneath, center. And now it's on the edge. And so Dan put it, and I'm like, ooh, little big. And so Dan had to put 2 of his coffee end tables together to make the one TV stand. And then when his fiance came home, she's like, we're going to get a new TV stand. And he's like, well, it doesn't look that bad. No, we're like, that wasn't a question. That was a statement. This looks terrible. Yeah, and the first thing Dan and I did, we're like 1/8 undone packing. Like the boxes were in the same room, but we're waiting for pizza to get there. We put on his PS4, and we started watching the best pay-per-view matches from 2009, 2010 WWE. We watched Cena and Edge at No Mercy, where Cena AA'd Edge into the crowd.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, into fans, air quotations, yet all of them were jacked, coincidentally.
They all caught him.
They did, perfectly. They spotted him perfectly. If I saw a man the size of... if I saw anyone about to like get a wrestling move into me, I'm moving and you're going to eat that table. I'm not helping you. Anyways, Greg, where can they find us?
Check us out on YouTube, Last Man In Podcast. Anywhere you get your podcast, whether that be Google Play, iTunes, or the podcast app on your phone, check out Last Man In Podcast through there. Check us out on Twitter at Last Man In PC. If you want to email the show at Last Man In Podcast or at lastmaninpc@gmail.com. And that's all the places you can find us. We do not actually have a real Patreon, and if you're a part of a company that wants to sponsor us, let us know by sending us an email.
And an envelope full of cash.
Exactly.